And we are doing good. Happy Monday, Tuesday. Today I didn't even know what the day was. You know, that's what happens when it's a holiday. But if y'all heard my little spill there just a minute ago, y'all know that I am completely unprepared. But I recognize as a leader that so many times we get comfortable, we get complacent. And I was seeing in the chats like all the leaders stepping up and showing up and doing all the things. And I said, you know what, I need to lead a Zoom. And so I got the link and it said this Tuesday was available. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And then last night or yesterday during the day, I'm fiercely trying to get people to interview, and everybody's thankfully away from their phones and kind of hanging out with their family. And last night I said, Court, I need you. And so she just stepped right in. She said, hey, I've got my grand giggle, but I can multitask. And, you know, I think it's just so good for you guys to hear from new people, but it's good to hear from the ones that have been here and been in the trenches for a hot minute. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But I want us to kind of come from a space. This is a leadership Zoom. So I just want us to come from a space of the realness and the rawness of, you know, I've been thriving for 9.5 years now. A lot has changed. I'm going to talk to Kortney a little bit about some of the hats that have changed in her life since she started. I mean, she didn't at all probably think when she started this Thrive Life that she'd be a glam off, you know, now on this Zoom. So anyway, so I'm excited, guys. If you have not shared this out to your team, your customers, get this out to them, because we're just going to give them some tips that are going to be effective growing your business. You don't just have to survive in your business through the summertime. You can thrive in your business. Now, is it going to require work? Absolutely. This is work. It's network marketing. And so, you know, we have to always be in that stage of growing and evolving. And that takes really requiring us to take a deeper look at who we are. I say so many times, I don't compartmentalize a thriver, a mom, you know, and my relationships and my responsibilities. I'm literally all of those things. And so I don't think about each day, you know, am I going to brush my teeth, get dressed, and put on a DFT? Like, it's just part of my process. When I get up in the morning, I roll over, I take my capsules, I lay there for a minute. I'm doing gratitude. I'm downing my water. You know, those things are just part of who I am. And I think what happens is we compartmentalize so many things, and then something gets hard or something gets out of sync and we get stopped. And if we will just learn to create processes that flow with our life. Now, believe you me, I'm not saying that everything is going to always be riding around on, you know, unicorns and rainbows. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying if it becomes a part of your every single day life, it will be easier for you to maintain. What I see a lot of times is people come fast and furious. They're working really hard on their business, or they're working really hard on a promo, or they're working really hard to achieve something, and then they fizzle out, they burn out. But if you'll work at that pace, you'll begin to realize you're becoming stronger. It's becoming natural. It's becoming more routine. And I don't ever think, I literally, when my capsules get to about 2 packs on my nightstand, I go to the kitchen, I grab about 5 more packs, I put 5 more packs on my nightstand. It's not that I need to set a reminder, refill your nightstand, or it's just not. It's not something that is a task for me. It's part of the process, just like if I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth. I don't have to set a reminder. Hopefully, I'm 40-ish, and it's like, I don't have to set a reminder to remind myself to brush my teeth and to bathe. That's called growth. That's called, and I know that that's super simplified. And you're probably thinking, yeah, we know we need to brush our teeth. Well, not all of our friends do, but you know, hey, I'm just saying, these are things that we just kind of go into the flow. And so I'm super excited to have Kortney on. And Kort, I'm thankful for you, first of all. We do life together, and we've done so much life together. And, you know, I hear all the time, people are like, well, you know, people in network marketing, they're your friend, so you're not connected. And I don't believe that. I believe that we understand that we're in business. And when I was working in corporate America, when someone would go to a different job or do something else, we'd always say, let's do lunch, please. Let's always do lunch. Let's hang out. What happens? They go to a different job and their routine is different. So our lives, our daily interaction is not the same. But I am so thankful for the daily interactions of the people that we have in this business. And this is Kortney, you know, just one of those people that is fiercely resilient. One of the things she said, and she doesn't know this, it kind of hurt my feelings the first time I heard it. But she's like, I don't care what Chas is doing. I'm like, and she said, as a leader, like I'm listening to her guidance, I'm taking what I need. But if she's distracted, I'm not distracted. If she's fiercely focused, then we're going on the same path. She made it so clear that she is running her business. She is in charge of the destiny and where this business goes. We can depend on the product to show up every day. We can depend on the business and the compensation plan to stay aggressive and continue to work, but we have to depend on ourselves to work. And so what I have seen with Court is, she's taken ups and downs in her business. She's taken some very deep downs, but then she's gone back and said, what do I need to do to make me better? And so that's what I love about her consistency, her leadership, the way she rallies around her people and her team. So Court, for the people that have not heard your story, I just want you to kind of just in a high level tell us why you got started. And then I do want you to I am going to be quiet at some point. I do kind of want you to just the evolution of when you started, how the boys were so young, and now where you are now, and what you've done to just kind of navigate the newness of all the life. So take it away, Sister Fran.
Yeah. Kind of what you said just a bit ago, and I learned this early on, and I believe this early on with this business, is that your network is your net worth. I believed it. I don't know where I heard it for the first time, but I believe that was true. So I knew at that moment that I was going to do all the things. Networking is marketing, right? We are marketing ourselves. We are marketing our uniqueness. We are marketing what we stand for. And what I think is so cool about being in this business, that we never take a break on trying to find us. Because every season there is a new us. There's a way we do things differently. So I just love that we're almost not, I don't want to say pressured, because we're not, but we're almost always leveling up to know what the best that we can possibly be, because we're not just doing this life just for us. We have a team that we're fighting for. We have a family that we're fighting for. We have friends that are around us that are not even thrivers. But the better we get at owning ourselves and getting stronger, the better it is really for everybody. And then you obviously can see a lot of the times where you're not actually talking thrive with somebody, but you're talking life, because you're growing as a human being. It goes out in everything that you do, thrive or not thrive. And a lot of times, what does it do? It comes back to, okay, there's that trust. I wasn't even really trying to build trust, but when you just authentically want to help others, you're just doing that in your everyday conversations. And then you have this amazing product here that when they're ready, that you're be able to even change your life even more. So my whole point is, so when I started, I understood the concept of this. I knew if you worked hard, I knew if you had grit, and I think those two words are awesome. So I want to work hard. I love the word grit. So I know I wasn't going to go through this life not gritting through, because I know that's where, besides financially, but that's where your confidence comes in. If you're just going and you're working hard in your business every single day, you start to build confidence. So when I started, it's kind of crazy. I thought about that this morning, and I think my son was 3.5. My youngest kid, and it's so funny now, I have an 8-week-old granddaughter. Like, I don't even know, like, I went and took my kid to 7th grade, 6th grade, whatever, graduation last week. I'm like, I am like a grandma going to a 6th grade thing. Like, I'm like in the middle of all the greatness. So I got started, for one thing, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. How many times have you heard that? But I hear a lot of people say on these Zooms and other Zooms is, I wasn't there for the business. I didn't need the business. I was going to tell my friend, the product doesn't work. I couldn't wait to tell my friend. I was not like that. I did not do that. I'm like, I hope this project works. I hope it does exactly what it says it's going to do, because I can't keep going through life the way I'm going through life, sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And people say, well, that doesn't make sense. At that time, I was personal training. I was in the gym. I was working. I was doing all the things. And they're like, how are you so tired? You're always in the gym 6 days a week. We're always seeing you work out. But I'm like, a treadmill and weightlifting does not fill in my nutritional gaps. So I can do that until I'm blue in the face. It doesn't mean that I feel good, right? I actually didn't feel good. And so it's because there was so many flaws in my body that were not filled by good nutrition. But here's the thing is I was eating pretty dang well. I wasn't eating really bad. I was eating, drinking, maybe not enough water every day, but most days of the week, I was probably drinking enough water. And I was supplementing all the time. I was taking 18 to 20 supplements a day. I knew that's what you're supposed to do. I know we can't get in our food what we can get in a supplement. I know all these things. And so when I heard Thrive come around, I messaged Chastity and, I followed her for a little bit. And if anyone's been around for a while, we started with that old video, and I swear, if you guys have never seen it, go watch it just for me. I don't know, I will not waste your life if you do. It's 7 minutes and 13 seconds because I literally remember. I watched it so many times and I sent it to so many people. But for me, when I first watched the video, it was super awesome all the way until the end. Like it was like, the chick was on the jet skis with the money coming down. I'm like, jet skis, money come down. Old people are not old people. Older people than me were running through the woods. And I was like, oh my God, they look happy. Well, at the very end, it said in 3 simple steps. And that was where I was turned off. And I was like, there is no way that this product's going to do what it says it's going to do in 3 simple steps that you take first 30 minutes of your morning. Now, for most people, that would be intriguing, sweet. Like I can get all the goodness in 30 minutes. Well, I was taking 18 to 20 supplements a day, like I said, but from the time I went to the bed or time I woke up until the time I went to bed, I can't even tell you how fierce it was. Like if I was even to go see a movie, like at 4, I would literally have to take my supplements with me, kind of like if I was not going to be home until 9. And then I did that for years until I realized I was really traveling with my vitamins. And when it's summer, it's freaking hot. And then in your car, you're 200 degrees and it's really hot. And your supplements, you should never have yours. Anyways, you guys should know your Thrive stuff should not be in the sun. Don't let it hit sun. That's super important. That's just a side note. So anyways, and the 3 simple steps. Day 1. Didn't really notice anything. Day 3, day 4, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling something, not sure what it was, not really giving Thrive the credit, even though I wanted to, but it just seemed too good to be true. By day 10, I fell in love with this product and I just kind of ran. But then I realized that once I fell in love with this product and I wanted to change my life, but I wanted to change a whole bunch of lives around me, I knew at that moment that I had to level up in all aspects of my life. I knew right away. I knew self-development was important. I know it's important if you're not in this type of business, if people are not reading and they're not listening to audibles and they're not watching motivational. I don't care if you are working in Jeep or wherever you're working, you have to do these things because life comes at us all the time. So I was very fortunate to believe that right away, knowing that I had to get this going before I could help a whole bunch of other people. So I had to start leveling up. So I started leveling up my friends. I started getting a new circle. I couldn't do that drowning. I wanted to be able to help everyone that I was leveling, like that I was keeping down here. I didn't want them there, but I knew how long I could be here for me and how long I could be there for them. And there is at some point that I did. I had to level up my friends. I had to level up the way I worked. I had to level that up more. I had to level up my consistency. I had to level up my dreams. I had to level up I knew the harder that I was going to work and the more leveled up I was getting on all circumstances of my life, I knew that life was just going to get better that way. And it did. And so was it scary to just be like, I wasn't like, I was like, oh my God, I was just like you just said, Chas, like you're not just a thriver, you're not just this. Like I wasn't like I'm just full force a thriver and no one's gonna break me. No, I knew I had to grow in all aspects of my life to be a good thriver, to be a good leader. And I took that responsibility on all in. Like, let's do this. Like I'm ready to go. Because I knew if there's things that I didn't do, did I want to quit a bunch of times? Of course I did. I mean, if you didn't, you're lying. You know what I mean? There was things that were coming at me one way or other. It was again because I was starting to level up. So it was hard for me to deal with things that I would have dealt with in the past, because I just know that's just not the way we're supposed to live anyways. And I was starting to get out of that bubble. And there was things that happened at the beginning of my business, things that even happen now. Obviously I took it harder at the beginning. Now I don't really care. It's like so weird how this has changed. But I knew that pain was temporary, but I knew quitting would last forever. So if things are painful in your business right now, and we are at the end of the month, and are you're like, I'm good, I've done all the things, and I'm at the end of the month and I feel solid on what I did, one way or the other, if you're where you're at or if you're not where you're at, but you've been putting in the work and you've been doing all the things, that this is a hot topic end of the month for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Some people, like, I've been busting my butt and I'm still haven't moved. And there's some people, you know, whatever, you know, and so what I heard in Denver, which again, y'all, I know I'm not going to talk about Thrive-Palooza because it's been 2 months, but you guys obviously have to go next year because it was like the best ever. But what did Inky Johnson say? And I've been saying this to my team. We have Monday night calls and I'm just obsessed with it. But the easiest thing to do is quit because there's no effort. Now, y'all, I heard things like that. I probably have heard that before, exactly those words. But for some reason, I was like, wow. Now, I wasn't actually taking a direct hit to me. Actually, I felt good. I was like, I ain't quitting. I never thought about that. You know, whatever. Like, I just felt like there's so many people that they quit because it was easier, because there was literally no effort in doing it. Think about it. If you quit something, I don't care what it is, but especially if you're quitting work in this business like you used to, and you're quitting that consistency, there's no effort in doing less. So I don't want to live like that. Every success story that I pretty much hear, you know, in Lavelle business or any sort of thing on this planet, it has taken grit. It has taken so much consistency. It has taken 1,000 no's. It has taken a hit after hit after hit to be excited about that win, and knowing you're going to get hit again. But that's going to happen in life anyway. That's going to happen in life anyway. So I just know life is about that. I mean, you hear Jason Camper, you read his book. We wouldn't be sitting here doing this Zoom right now if he decided to take the easy way out. If he just decided to say, there's some pain here, so I'm going to go ahead and just not do that. No, because pain is temporary. We'll get over it, right? But quitting lasts forever. And I know there's and this is so crazy too. And I'm sure you guys see this a lot. And this business is different. It's 100% different. This product is different because and I'm not going to get too far into this because it's not even the purpose of the question that Chastity asked me. But it always blows my mind. Like this past Friday, I put my Flex Friday up, and there was 2 people commented on there, like, you know, I don't know if those are picture or they just commented like, oh my God, yes, it's amazing. I don't even know what I said. I'm like, whoa, 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 you back? You back? I didn't know you're back. You know what I mean? Like everybody that I know that's ever left, and they weren't even on my team. I'm just saying in general, I'm like, the product works. And I remember, Chastity, you said something to me a couple months ago. I don't know why we were talking about it, but you were like, does the product still work? Like, not to me, but you know what I mean? Like, does the product still work? If the product still work, why would you even think twice left or right? Why would you leave something that works? Okay, that's not even where I was going to go with that. So anyways, it's my story.
I love it. And Court, I want you to just kind of, you know, I've watched, you know, you've taken just a deeper dive into your journey of faith, and you've gotten very uncomfortable in some of the new, you know, we talk so much about finding your niche and finding the groups. You know, when I started, I was already abuela, you know, so I was already in the grandma gang. You know, now you're in that new season. And so, you know, that is just so much proof of how, you know, life is going to change for everybody. And as we continue to grow our networks, we have to continue to grow our networks. I was talking to a friend of mine, and her son is going into senior year of college. And it's so crazy that he's actually taking a networking class, you know, for whatever it is, whether you're going into business, whether you're going into engineering, whatever you're going into, they are now encouraging these students to network because they want to find the right job. They want to find the right fit. And so for us, a lot of times, a lot of people in this business go, you know, I don't like to talk to people. Let me tell you, in the last year and a half, I'm like, do I like people. Like, I don't even know if I like people. And I do, I go back to that. I do like people. I want to talk to people that have higher level conversations. I want to talk to people that are moving forward, that are doing something with their life, that are taking their pain and making it purpose, like all of these things. Like, I want to talk to somebody that is going to challenge me, to inspire me and encourage me. And so I want you to talk just a little bit about, you got into just like opening your home for your church group. And then, I mean, just a little bit about how that kind of just evolved and was an exciting thing and allowed you just to meet more people and put you in front of people. Now, did that mean, hey, everybody that you saw and everybody you were in front of, they're like, oh, whatever you're doing, I'm doing? Absolutely not. But I want you to share a little bit about that, because I know there were some uncomfortable moments in that type of growth for you.
Right. Yeah. And I want to make sure I let you know too, and how that's kind of like, I shared this with my team last Monday, but I'll get into that after I share this. So that's networking with my Jesus people. Like, let's be real. That's what I'm doing right now. And it's doing really, really good. So anyways, so, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, shoot. I don't even know where to start with that. But
well, you joined your
I've
church.
met.
You joined your church, and then you
Yes.
just started volunteering. I mean,
Yeah. So joined church, started volunteering a lot, and then starting like, well, I was always the one that just wanted to skate in. I don't want anybody to look at me. Don't shake my hand. Don't even pretend I'm not here. I was like in a black hoodie, basically. Anyways, so I realized that again, I'm trying to level up at all aspects of my life, and some things start here and then, take a little longer. But yes, I started I kind of ran a church for, I don't know, COVID hit. So maybe like a year, where I would be up there sharing before the pastor, which is really kind of weird because that's like super uncomfortable for me. But what's the thing is I let people know my vulnerability. I let people know that I was nervous, that I felt this way. And I'm not saying I was putting the vibes out of like, what you think about, you bring about. It wasn't like that. Like, I know that I have to feel this way to get to this next level, to get to this next season of my life. And so I've actually, oh my God, I've done a lot. And I've connected with a lot of people through my church, and there's people over here. And it's so funny, everyone, I'm a thriver. Like, I don't even know if they know my name, but like, she's the thriver, even though we don't really talk much about thrive, but for some reason, that's who I am. So what I did last week, which has started maybe 2 weeks ago. Now, you guys hold on to me when I say this. Don't think I'm a freak of nature, because I'm not. Okay. So you guys know, like, ads that come up on your Facebook, and you get like, I could say something about a Jesus rubber bracelet, and if your guys' phones will, everyone's gonna pop up right after this Zoom. Like, you're gonna see don't take those. Those are my people. Anyway, shouldn't even told you that. So how you get these ads, and a lot of it is like, if it's a shirt or something like that, and it's always like complaining, like, wrong size, took 20 years to get to me, never came. Okay, this was different. So they had these cross silicone bracelets, and I started going through the comments. And because I was about to get on a grandma group like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't done that yet. And this is why, because I know where my mind is. I know I can focus on one thing. I don't want to do 13 things, because I'm never going to do it good enough. And so underneath these comments were real legit comments. Like, oh my God, I buy a bulk and then just hand them out as I feel needed. Oh, and I'm going to order more. I mean, it was all normal people. I'm like, y'all about to be my best friends. So I was like, comment. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a great, there was a lot of things that they said that I was like, I wouldn't have bought in bulk. I probably would have bought 5. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give this person that. And they're like, I'm like, oh my God, great idea. Add as friend. Oh my God, blah, blah. I mean, I'm being freaking genuine as crap. Add as friend. So it was like, boom, 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 boom. I had like 5 new friends in like 7 hours. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I wrote their names down. It's not something that I'm not legit, or I'm going to go back to that same page for the rest of my life. I don't do that, but I at least have it in my calendar for the month of June on my calendar, and where those little note spots are, or I can just see those names. So throughout June, I'll like pop in there, go comment on their thing. I don't get crazy. I don't do check marks. Used to do that. It doesn't work that way for me. Anyways. And so then there was like 400 comments. So then the next day I just did a little bit more. Then the next day, so I'm still on those. I had screenshotted, so I make sure I went to that right one, right? That, that I can scroll up and do it. And literally, I can't tell you how many people that I've been friends with in the last 2 weeks from that one comment, and it's real legit people. Now, I spent the extra 3 seconds and went to their page, and it's like, okay, totally in, totally in. Now, I didn't do it to every single person that I commented on, because I was like, maybe not. You know what I mean? You can decide who's in your network, right? And so now I'm like, oh my God, I've never done that before. I've always got my friends from groups. And that's the thing, is like you said, Chastity, you cannot be scared to add people. Your whole job and your soul should be thinking, how much more people can I connect to? Because we can't keep talking. If you have 700 friends or whatever, 1,000 friends, you can't keep talking to those thousands. You got 101. You got to keep adding and adding and adding. That should be a full like hyper mode of like, how can I add more people to my social media? Because again, we're not selling hair ties, or we are changing people's life by the product that we have. So yes, do we want them to connect with us? Yes. Do we want them to see our Thrive posts? Yes. But guess what? I don't know everybody on this Zoom, but I'm pretty dang sure most of your content has value to it on your Mondays and on your Tuesdays and on your Thursdays. You're probably not just going like, have a good day, everybody, every day. Have a great day. Like there's something going on where you have connections with people that they're wanting to hear what you have to say. Or if you're saying all this great content and you're giving information and you get a 10 likes or 2 likes, how many times have we heard this? People are watching. How many times have you heard where someone's like, okay, I'm probably going to sign up. I'm sick of looking at your post. In the nicest way, you're like, I didn't even know we were friends on Facebook. Like that whole thing. So when you are adding people to your network, think of it as what you're doing for them, not just your Thrive post. What are you doing for them on your Thursday when you're doing a Thankful Thursday? I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing. I just know that you're taking time, because you guys are on the Zooms, you are on the listen, you're doing all the things. If you went to Thrivepalooza, if you went to didn't go to Thrivepalooza, but you got a chance to catch some of these recordings from the leaders that did the panelists, like taking all these things, we know what we need to do. So don't hesitate. That's the kiss of death. When you hesitate, that is literally the kiss of death. And then you're probably not going to do it, because I think it's that fear, it's that self-doubt that impacts everything, and your future is threatened literally by your impulses. And they're usually not good ones, right? That's usually that moment where you hesitate, that moment that you hesitate from making that post, from adding that person to your social media, to reaching out to that person, is the kiss of death. We just can't have that time frame where our brain attaches to what's going on. I don't know, a lot of people probably read that book, Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Me, dude, I was like, I know how to do that. I don't really need to listen to that book. Well, I listened to it, and then I listened to it again. I listened to it, I think 3 times in 3 weeks, and I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, of course, every time you read something or listen to something, you get a little bit more out of it. But it is in that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you think about anything longer than that, you're usually going to probably do what you weren't supposed to do, or what you're hesitant to do. So I always try to ask my team this, and I ask myself this more, are you in maintenance mode? Like right now in your business, are you in maintenance mode where you're just doing enough? Like you're just getting by, you're doing birthdays, you're reaching out to 5 people every single day, which is great, but is that just enough? Or are you in that growth mode where you're just all in? You're doing all the extra things, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is just, it's like just to get that's the saying you clocked in today. I'm here. This is, I clocked in. Now, everything else that you do is adding to what you can do for yourself, for your team. And I think that's the thing, is like, I did my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But if you really want this as a business, and you really go out there and serve people and help people with their health and their wellness and their mindset, we have to send a message. We have to connect with more people. We have to follow up. I mean, I think that's the kiss of death right there, is the follow-up system. I always say to people, the worst thing you could do is say that you're going to remember to do something, because then you forget. You're like, I'll remember to do that. And then you don't remember to do it. And then you don't do. I don't know what's going on. She's growling like a wolf. I have dogs too. I have a grand dog with me as well. So yeah, Chas, That's
I love that. And I think that that's where, a lot of times in this business, people feel like, okay, I just need to do something new because then it's exciting, and that's not necessarily the case. It's just, you've got to find that new excitement and that new fire. One thing that you're going to hear, and if you've been here a hot minute, is Court looks like she's frozen, but if y'all can still hear me, just click a little thumbs up or something, because I want to make sure I'm not frozen. But the thing is that we have to make sure that we listen to okay, cool, thanks guys. What do our audience want? Are the marketing, like Kortney was saying, you could say something into your phone and then I could just say, I've been looking at those new Crocs or whatever. I'm going to get all these posts in my newsfeed because I've searched something, I've Googled something. And that is the same thing. We are in a network marketing space. We have to see, what are the people? A lot of times I'll post something and someone posts that right away. I'm always, and this is just a, disclaimer out there, anything I share, you're welcome to share, make it your own, whatever. I don't need the credit. As long as it's somebody else's quote, give them the credit where credit's due. But maybe your audience is not looking for what I'm talking about. You need to know, what is your audience seeking? Are they looking to feel better? It's about to be tank top and flip flop season. Do they feel confident and getting into those less clothes? How are they feeling about, having a vacation coming up? I've heard multiple people in my newsfeed spaces like, we work in extra hours. I'm going to be working summer school. I'm going to be pulling extra shifts. There's so many people doing these extra things so they can go on a 1-week vacation. So what are they talking about? You have to be listening. And when we started 9.5 years ago, everything was exciting and everything was new and everybody was jumping on board. And that was great. It was awesome, right? And then we got into this space of, people were paying thousands of dollars to listen to these attraction marketers. So, how do you attract people? And then, we transitioned to be more of attractive, where people wanted to feel a part of our space and they wanted to come into our organization. I don't know about you guys, but after COVID and all of the things that we experience, people started taking off the filters and the masks, and they are just like, we just want people to be honest and vulnerable. And so I feel like we're in a no BS marketing space, meaning that people don't want you to BS. If you are coming at them, I know for me, when someone hits me up in my inbox and they're like, hey girl, I know you love what you do, but and all of this whatever, delete, like block. But if they come to me and say, Chas, hey, I watched you. I see that you're successful in business. I know that you're very intentional about taking care of your health. I just want you to try this product. I want you to see what what you think about the taste, what you think about the texture, what you think about. I am absolutely going to take the time to give them opinions. I'm going to give people their advice. And a lot of times when someone sends me something like that, I'll look at, where are they coming from? Are they and there are many of our leaders in this organization that have top tier people that they have random cold market, that they've brought them in absolutely from a cold market space. Now, I will tell you this, if you are not really good at that cold marketing, you're going to have to get out and get into that face-to-face space. What are you doing? We're going into the summertime. What are you going to be a part of? If you work a day job, it's easy to get in that rut of going to work, then coming home. So many people say, I don't have time to work this business, but they'll come home, they'll sit on TikTok, they'll scroll, they know all the latest TikToks, but they're not investing in their future. They're vegging out, they're numbing the day, whatever it is that they're doing, instead of thinking, what can I be doing in this next? Now, believe me, I'm all about the pause. I'm about the disconnect. I'm about renewing. But at some point, you have to realize that there's going to be somebody else that's going to outwork you. And I have gotten to a place where every time I get in a place of like, I'm tired, I feel like life's just giving me too much, I want to sit back, I literally will look around. I'll look around. I'm sitting in my office, I can see my security cameras, and I look around and think that I've achieved, the physical, the tangible things that are not, that's not the most valuable thing to me, but those are the things that I've achieved. It's come from the work and the effort. This past 3 days, I've had the kids, all my kids, I'm an empty nester, but all my kids are grown, and for them to come over and say, hey mom, can I take the jet skis, it fills my heart, because that's something that I never was able to do as a teenager. I never could ask my parents for, we didn't have the extra. So to be able to offer them and give them options because of what this business has provided, it fills my soul. And how do I keep that? How do I continue that? It's to continue to work. What are the people that I am talking to? The people that I am talking to, I know they're struggling with sleep. They're struggling with wanting to get out of the bed. They're struggling with the loss of income. Guys, those are my focus. Those are the people that I am making sure I'm incredibly intentional with. I've talked about how in the last year and a half, I've been in very intense, doing a lot of therapy, and I'm very intentional with, I start in these big groups, maybe it's a group that is your niche and it's a big, 50,000 people. If there's not a smaller pull-out group, then create one. I love that I'm in a space where I joined some groups that are what I needed for my life. Then from that, now there's sub pull-out groups. And from those sub pull-out groups, there might be, 50, 100, there might be 17, there might be 20. But from those groups, we do Friday night Zooms, that I've been doing consistently, which is a group of people that are getting to know me. They're not just seeing the Chas on social media that's showing up and inspiring and encouraging and have everything together. They're seeing me on Friday night, spilling my heart, talking about the hard, where, what was your hard thing this week? What was your win this week? They're getting to know me on a personal level. And that is how that people come to me and say, what is it you're doing? Well, first, I give all glory to God for just one step of grace every single day. But I'm like, I get out of bed after my capsules kick in. I get out of bed after I've given that. I see you now, Court. I see you back. So they start asking me because they've gotten to know me. If all they see is put together all of the things, Tuesday payday, and life is great, they're going to think that I just have it all together. But when I pull myself into a smaller group where people can get to know me, they can get to know that I'm real just like you. I struggle just like you. They realize that I have something that they can benefit from. And I think a lot of times we sell ourselves short because we need to show up as the best version and the most put together version. And that's not what the world's looking for. Would I say that 9.5 years ago? Absolutely. What are they talking about right now? My social spaces, they're talking about eggs being expensive. They're talking about flights being crowded. They're talking about a lot of things that I can feed into. And like Kortney said, you decide what you want to talk about. You decide what you want your conversation to be about. You decide who you want to show up as. So, for me, I think, that's an evolution of things. Kortney, you talked about how you had to grow those people and you kind of grew your network. I want to talk real quickly about, there's things that people don't understand that can absolutely be a game changer as far as outside of just social media. And some of you might be like, I'm not that type of person. What kind of tips can you give us for like maybe face-to-face meeting people as we go into summertime? I know that a lot of you guys that have snow forever, now the sun is shining. You are really good about having y'all's lake days, driving around on the golf cart, meeting people. And do you hide your DFT? I know you said your church friends know that you're that thriver, but do you have to decide like, I'm going to go to the lake this weekend and I'm going to put 5 samples in people's hand? Or are you just like, I'm going to the lake and I'm wearing my DFT and people are going to ask about it? Like, how do we get past that, just that weirdness of we're a thriver? Like, what's something you do to overcome that? Yeah, hold on. Let me unmute you. Oh, you know what? I think I have to make you that person again. Hold on.
All
Haha.
right, can you hear me? Okay, sorry, my computer went off and now I don't know the number to join in. Anyways, so for me, no, I don't hide my DFT for sure. But you know, it's so funny what I have noticed though, like when I go to the gym, I haven't been ordering them as much, even though I love them. I know that sounds so bad, but the black and the white label, because nobody notices those. I just noticed that. Like they think it's like a tattoo or something. So, anyways, I'm trying to do all the other ones. So, anyways, honest to God, like usually, you know, if you go somewhere, it's always the same type of place. You're normally going to kind of see the same people. So if that's you going to church, you going to a gym, you going to a class, you going to the grocery store at 10 o'clock, like whatever it is, we all go places that usually sometimes the same people are there. But for me is I genuinely like people and I genuinely want to get to know people. But more than that, I want them, this is how I just feel like in life. And I felt this way before Thrive. But I've always looked at people, and I know this sounds like a weird thing to do, but as they have something major going on in their life right now. And then they could be smiling, they could be happy with their laughing, giggling, crying, laughing. But my thought is there's something deeper. And I don't want to be like you go around just thinking everyone's terrible. It's not like that, but it brings me a different person to them. And so like you ever see those commercials? I'm not even sure it's some sort of prescription where they have like a happy face and then like a sad face. And so like they're sitting there at lunch, but they really are sad and they're like depressed or whatever it is, right? I literally go through life kind of looking at everybody like that. So I think I generally get to know people. I want them to be able to trust me. I kind of go out there and everybody that I meet, that this is their first hi for the day, maybe their first hi for the week. This is their first, how are you? Tell me something about you. How many kids do you have? People love to talk about themselves. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. The most important person to somebody is themselves, right? And for the most part, I mean, it should be, but I know it's not actually. It should be, because if we do good for us, and if I think that I'm the most important thing every single time when I get up, for me, then I know that I will do things then to make things better for others. And I'm not just talking about the people that live in my home. I genuinely want to make other strangers. Sometimes I'm at the store and I almost feel like I'm always working, which I work from home. This is so super weird. But like I'll go into Kroger's or anywhere like a grocery store, and I'm always like, hi. Then I'm like, I just freak them out. But I know in my mind, my like, do I go out there all the time and say, I'm going to do 5? I used to, and I'm going to do 5 this weekend. And they got so stressful that I was so awkward when I talked to people because it was almost like a number for them. And I'm just not good at it. And personally, I'm sure other people are really good at it. But what I do is every time I go outside of my house, I'm more intentional to take my blinders off, because I'm a love me with some blinders sometimes. You know, every blue moon I'll put them on. Or like, I have to go and I have to get this done. I have to do this. But again, I do feel God places people in my life. I don't care where it's at. I don't care if it's at Kroger's, if it's at a gas station getting gas. Now, do I smile at every single person and make them feel? No, because I have boundaries too, where I'm a young dilemma. I mean, they might not know it. But there's a dude in his 30s with big muscles that I'm probably not going to go full blown on this dude. You know what I mean? Like little much. But for the 95% of people, I try to take my blinders off, but it's intentional. I don't walk out the door knowing it's going to happen. I have to talk myself. I'm in the car, girlfriend. Today, you have to serve somebody some way, somehow. Is that a smile? Is that a hi? Is that a bye? How are you doing? Whatever, you know what I mean? You can ask somebody, hey, how are you doing? What are they going to say? Oh, I'm great. Fine. Right? Well, good. What's great? What's fine? Tell me. Well, sometimes it ends up being something great and fine. They tell you, or it's not. I just believe that I'm put on this earth to serve other people in their feelings and in their thoughts. And I feel like it's a gift I have to listen. And I think I'm a good listener. I'm not perfect at it, but I try to not talk. What are your needs? What are your wants? What have you not got to share with anybody in the last like year? Brian just sent me a friggin' TikTok the other day, and it was a guy saying, like, would your wife say you're doing on or Saturday or something? And the wife told the husband like 4 times, and he was like, I don't know. But like we talk, especially when you're in home with people, you have the same conversation, you hear the same voice. They don't hear you. I don't know. Brian just doesn't hear me. Sometimes it drives me crazy. And I was like, well, I told you 4 times, you know what I mean? And sometimes like, I didn't know we were doing that. I go, we are. So now I just have plans at last minute, but I told him 10 times. So anyways, my thing is out there. Yes, wear my DFT out there, but what I'm trying to do is get people to know me, get people to trust me. And here's the thing, this is what's so cool right now. So at the marina that we stay at, it's like camper, whatever. And I'm trying to find my balance there, because it's kind of like, and sometimes it's like the MIS or like inside a NASCAR race, you know what I mean? It's like pumping, and then I'm having like Bible study like the next day there. So I'm like trying to find this balance of like, I don't want these weirdos coming over on a Bible study day. Well, we're like different, but I'm friends with both, you know what I mean? So I'm like, hey guys, my Bible friends are coming over tomorrow, so don't come by, just honk. Don't even honk, actually, don't look, you know what I mean? Pretend I don't even know you. But I actually had a girl like 8 campers down. She lost her daughter at the age of 17. I think her birthday's today, because I seen it on Facebook. Her daughter's now, would be 23. Her daughter died from an overdose. Like, this is really bad thing right now. Like, and the guys, I know you guys don't need to hear all this, but he just got sentenced because she was passed away for like 8 hours before he even called 911. So it's just big thing, right? She's a mess. I know her from the marina, but I became friends with her on social media. I'm starting a Bible study next Tuesday, The Armor of God by Priscilla Schreier. If you guys have done it, I'm excited. Everybody says it's really good. And she's just signed up for it with a friend. What? Now it's like, you have to sign up on a link. And I was like, dude, I kept praying for it. I'm like, I just really hope she does it. Because a lot of people say I'm going to do something, they don't do it. I'm not, I've seen it a million times, not just with that, with anything. And so you had to go to this link because it's through my church. And you have to go through it, but I made people do it because that's more of a commitment. You got to fill in your name and your phone number or email, whatever you got to do. And she signed up, and then she messaged me the other day, which I have in the back of my car. She's like, and her granddaughter that lost her mom. So maybe she wasn't 17. I don't even know, but maybe she was 20. She is 11, and she says, "Is there a Bible that you would recommend for my granddaughter?" I'm like, oh my God, I have one. You know what I mean? Yes. And then and this is what, it's crazy. So this is a whole other thing. And she ordered Thrive the end of last year, and then she sent a picture of her husband or whatever, fiance. She's like, look at him. I'm like, oh my God, what has he been doing? So she sent that to me like 2 months ago. He's like thriving. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So I built trust, and that's just one story, but that's just what my life is. I want to do. I know I'm talking too long about this. Building the trust, not thinking Thrive, but at the same time, there's always that self-conscious thing, or not self-conscious, but that conscious thing. You are thinking about it because I know it'll help her. I'm not trying to get my product for free. I mean, I am, trust me, I get my product for free, but that's not, I think they know it's a real genuine thing. And then long story short, there's a third one. I was at the marina, my very next door neighbor, which we talk sometimes, we don't all the time. And she's like, hey, Tina from down there said that she was doing a Bible study. What's that all about? I'm like, sister, well, let's talk about it. So I just, you know what I mean? So she didn't sign up yet, but that's just, anyways, that's my long story.
Kortney, I love that because, but until a year ago, you say you don't know what people are walking through till you walk through their shoes. And I'll never forget, a year ago I was in Walmart, a month after my life had turned upside down. I'm like, does anybody see me? Like, does anybody know, like, my world is falling apart? And it's just made me so hyper aware of who else has just gotten bad news, who else is walking through something. So I am still like, you're like, Chas, I don't have all the time in the world. I still have my list, but I'm looking around. And if I say, hey, how are you? And I love the part where you ask that secondary question. If someone's like, oh my gosh, life is great, you know what? I could use a little greatness. What is that great about your life? Like, ask them that secondary question, because what if I'm like, life is great and my world just fell apart because I don't want to tell you, or I don't know you, but if I feel like you genuinely care, what if I am that person that desperately needs what you have? And so we don't take that time. How many of us, when we were, isolated to our homes, having to wear a mask, all those things, were like, I can't wait till I can gather. I can't wait till I can take this mask off and I can see people smiling. Guys, you can see people smiling or frowning now. Who are they? And maybe you have been placed into your life, whether you believe God or the universe, whatever placed you in that position at that moment in time, to be a light into their world. And I know so many people say, Charles, this is easy for you to say. Look at your 9.5 years into the business. We'll look at what you've done. If you asked me a key to my success, you can go back to Amber, you can go back to Paul, you can go back to Jason. I was networking before I was building a network. I was building relationship before I was building networking relationships. I shared this story the other night. I said, one of my top leaders, her and her husband that joined me 9.5 years ago, Pam Stone, we were at an event and she had an 1.5-hour drive. And I'm like, you're not driving home, you're staying with me. And she's like, weirdo, I don't know you, I'm not staying with you. I'm like, I'm not a weirdo, I'm a good, God-loving woman, and I'm, good person. And she stayed over because it was too far of a drive. And she's like that person that's like, girlfriend, I got you, I'll bury the body. Like, I mean, she is just like a good person. And so, she's got me, she's got my back on every single level. And so, understanding what you have here, product still works, the business still works. How do we go finish up this month, rolling into what is it that I want to achieve? I shared on the team page at the beginning of the month there, I knew that this month of May, I was going to be home more than typical. June, I'm traveling every single weekend. I'm gone. But I work out outside of the home because it just gives me accountability. I can work out in my home. I actually have 2 gyms, and I could be working out here. But if I show up, or I tell someone I'm going to have to show up, it's that accountability, right? And so there's so much to community. There's so much to having about those people that rally around you. So I knew that this month I was going to be able to attend so many workouts, and they were giving this shirt away. And I always laugh at our team because I'm like, I can give y'all $1,000 and no one will do a promo. I can do a cute water bottle and everybody's like, I want to win that. I mean, it's like, really, and you have to pulse check your people. What is it they want? So our trainer said, I'm giving out these summer t-shirts. They're only available through May, but you have to get 15 workouts. I said, I want that. But then I had to look at, what does my month look like? Had this been June, realistically, I'm traveling. Does that mean I couldn't have worked out 15 times? Absolutely. But to physically check in at the workout, my travel was not going to allow. So I want to challenge you that as you get ready to close out your month, that you're really legit looking at, what do I want to achieve this month? Oh my gosh, Kortney, I want to squeeze that baby. Oh, y'all, look at that precious grand giggle.
She just woke up.
I just totally went distracted. But what is it you want to achieve, right? So I think that you have to go back to, what was it that worked in the beginning? Yeah, y'all, I lost y'all all. Kortney, yeah, you got the baby and we lost everybody. Like, yeah, there you go.
She did good this whole time. I was stressed.
I know, she's done so good. I love that. Look at how she's working this business, showing up, and that right there is what we talked about in the beginning. So you have to look at, what were we doing in the beginning? We were thriving loud and proud. We were putting our product in people's hands. We were talking to strangers. We were building connections. We were building networks. And then we were setting goals. I'm just going to ask you, if you've been on here and you've been on here for a while, if you've been thriving for a while, when was the last time you sat down and got a piece of paper and made a list of goals? I'm going to get 2 customers, 2 promoters. I'm going to, work at just thriving for free. If you don't know where you're going by setting those goals, you're just going to wander around aimlessly month and month again. You're going to have life that's going to come in your way and it's going to distract you. You have to look at your goals realistically and say, you know what? Maybe I have fallen off. Maybe I was, hey, I don't care if you were 200K and you're now working at 4K. You still have an opportunity to build here because the product works and the business still works. Chas, I've heard you say that for 9.5 years. Well, I told y'all I'm about a 1.5 year thriver out of that 9.5 years because I needed the product to show up and I needed the business to show up in my life significantly. And it did. And now I realize, guys, to this day, we still have people in our cloud office that are achieving VIP 800. They're achieving those Maui gyms. They're earning the trips. They're doing all the things, but they're growing their network constantly. If you're not growing, you're not growing. And I know that sounds so trivial, but that's the truth. You cannot continue to talk to the same people every single day because until they're ready for change, nothing's going to change. I've met women all across the world now that until life smacked them in the face and literally left them on their back, nothing was going to change. They were destined, they were headed, they'd been married 25 years doing this thing, and they're just in a robot motion. And life flipped them on their back, unfortunately. And now they're like, I can do things. I learned I can, fix my car or whatever it is. Don't wait until something significant happens and you have to. Give yourself options. Give yourself options in your energy reserve. Give yourself options in your financial reserve, whatever it is. Give yourself options before you are dependent on those options. I'm so thankful that we have taken advantage of this business and this product, and we've said we're going to put one foot in front of the other. Every single day is going to be a challenge. Every single day you're going to get something that's going to come into your way. Maybe it's something simple as the kids forgot their lunch, or maybe it's something as a life-changing, income, whatever. We were hanging out for Memorial Day, and we actually were hanging out in Dak Prescott's neighborhood. And I just want to say, he doesn't have a fancy house. Like, props to him for keeping it humble. But I'm sure he's got like a lot of things, but he has a pretty decent house. And we were talking to one of the people that lives in those houses near Dak Prescott's neighbor. And this guy was living on the hog, like living life. And he lost his job. He was in sales. And, now life has shifted and changed, but they're living so far above their means that everything is an emergency situation. Guys, you can make NFL money here. You can have those dreams, those accomplishments, whatever that looks like to you. Dak Prescott could have a gazillion-dollar home, but he has just like this modest home, which I'm sure he's got other things. I'm not diminishing that, but it's, what do you want? What do your goals and dreams look like? I know for me as a grandma, I want to be able to keep up with my grandkids. I know for me financially, I want to have options. I don't want someone to, tell me what I can buy and what I can't buy. I want to owe no man but to love them. I want to be able to tithe and give generously all the time. And then looking at Kortney, having her sitting there, that right there is one of the sweetest blessings that this business can give us, is the memories. How many moms and dads are going to have to go work second shifts, more shifts, pull in summer school, all those things so that they can go on a 1-week vacation? How about we give them an opportunity to give them more options in their lives? So we have about 60 seconds, Court. I want you to just give us a quick tip. And oh my gosh, come here. Oh wait, look, I get to share a cuteness with y'all too. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look. That's what I'm doing after this Zoom. Say hi to everybody. Tell them fist bump. Fist bumps. Give them fist bumps. Oh no. Okay. Give us 60 seconds of wisdom, Court.
Okay. This is what I would just say is, if we want to grow in all aspects of our life, we have to choose growth again and again and again. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a two-time. It's every day we wake up, and we have to fight for that. Fear, we must overcome that, right? Again and again and again. We don't just hit a mark and nothing bothers us anymore, and fear is completely gone. It's just something that we have to continue to do. And find yourself a safe circle, 1 or 2 or 3 people. And you said something, Chastity, made me think of it, but when we do ask people, and when we genuinely are interested in others, there's no vibe like that. They'll catch on to that realistically, like just authentic, regardless if you sign up as a Thriver ever or in 6 months or a year. But when people say, usually people always tell you they're doing good. And now we want to help our friends and our family and our business partners that if they're not doing good, that they can actually come to somebody and share, because so many people are so used to people gossiping that nobody tells anybody how they really feel. So people are holding it in, holding it in, holding it in, because they don't want to tell them. I'm not saying you don't want to be like Debbie Downer every time you talk to somebody either, but if there's something in your heart that you want to share, find somebody that you can share that with, that you know that's going to cover you with an umbrella, and not just go out there like with like a billboard and be like telling people your problems. I think especially because of COVID, and where we all thought we're never going to go to a concert again, we're never going to see there's so many thoughts that we had when we didn't even think we were thinking of them. In the back of our minds, when we said we weren't scared, there was things that we thought we were scared of. It changed the way that people are. And so I just think that just find a person or two that you can really share your heart with, that you know they're not going to broadcast it, because it's so important to talk about how you're feeling. And then when we're working in a business like this, where we have the valleys and we have the mountains and we're ups and we're downs, we're going to need somebody. Regardless, it's always going to turn out okay. It's always going to be great. And we're always going to be glad that we went through everything we went through to get to where we are. So yeah, just kind of, growth, choose it again. Fear, you have to overcome it again and again. It's not just a one-time thing. So that's my story.
I want y'all to get out there. Thank you, Kortney, so much for showing up fiercely all the time and being so willing. It's just an amazing leader. And I want you to go out there and get some no's today. You know, in the beginning, we're like, get the no's. And now we're like, oh, we just want the yes. No, let's go get the no's. Let's go get the ones that are not ready. And then the ones that aren't ready, put them on your see first for 30 days so that you can continue to watch them. The ones that are trying something new or what are they talking about? Put them on your 30-day see first. I know a lot of times we want to put our inspirations and our motivational people on our see first. How about those people that you know I have something that I know will help you. How about you set them on your see first so that you can remember to check on them, see how their day is going, see how they're invest in people. When you invest in people, your return is going to be the greatest. I promise you, friends, your investment will be the greatest. So, Amber, I hope that we brought value for this meeting today. I know Camper is about to kick off another call. Happy payday. I want to challenge you as we log off here. If you have one thing that you can say, hey, my paycheck's not where it want it to be, or you're above board grateful, set something. I was just thinking, like, Kortney, as you're sitting there with your grandkid, how much does childcare cost for your daughter? How much would it cost for my nephew to go to a water park? That might be $75, you know, for a month or whatever. Set those little token things in relation to things that matter to you and say, this is what I want Thrive to pay for. This is what I want Thrive to help me accomplish. Start small, and then remember, gratitude changes everything. So thankful for all of y'all. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll see y'all next time. Same place, same space.